is a very little waste, because you're able to use pieces and parts of everything that you cut off. Even if it's a 24 by 36 ounce or 54-inch roll, you've got this side printed. So in the case where we are going off of a roll, you're using all 54 inches, and but it's expected to be running onto 54-inch wide print media. Is that what y'all normally do? Is 54 on 54, or is it a 24 by, or is it just
it varies?
All over the place. Yeah. Okay.
We do a lot of stuff like no trespassing signs and stuff like that.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the normal method for these are little tricks that you. This is
something sticky.
Yeah. That's a
mask.
That's
transfer tape.
Transfer tape.
I don't think we have 1-inch mask. We have just 2-inch mask.
That's all right. I'll make it work. Has anybody ever used a laminator that uses this type, or used it off of the machine?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is always the challenging part, is getting the laminate, or the relief liner of the laminate stuck on here. So this is trick number one. And I'm not going to get a ooh or an all from you guys, so y'all do this. Usually people are, when they're switching to a new laminator and they've been doing it. So first thing I'm doing is I'm going underneath this idler, and I'm bringing this up, sticking it right on. Okay. And I'm going to advance it. I don't want to grab this to advance. I want to grab the shaft that causes the rotation. Just go a little bit further. And then I'm going to take my tape and separate it. This is a cast, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all use a lot of cast?
Yeah. Don't touch them.
Okay, so I'm pulling this down. Do you guys have a roll of print media that is just almost empty and you can't put it on your printer because it probably doesn't have enough?
Sure. You have any extra media?
Something that we can laminate.
You're almost at the end of it.
No, one that's on a tube though.
But it's on a tube. Oh, just like. Yeah, so we can laminate.
That thing's fucking nice, man.
It's more to go roll to roll.
It's just more to go. I think you just like use a section of it.
Yeah. You have, what's your cheapest on a roll then?
You could do this like paper poster like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that something y'all use very often?
So you put a little piece of the tape
Perfect.
where the sticky part is shown, right?
Yeah.
So you can put it on there like that.
So the paper will stick to that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm going to simulate a few things with this roll. If you were doing a roll of prints, let's say your printer has a take up on it. Yeah. Okay. So it takes it up, image out. If you brought it over here, this would be your image side. Okay. So what I'm going to do now. I'm going to drop this in there. You don't want to drop it. You want to set it in there. So we want the image out. This has a little shelf here that helps you. Oftentimes it's a full roll and it's heavy. So you set it in there, push this in, and pull the pin, lock it into place. Okay? So this is my image. And I want to get this on the 27-inch mark as well, so that the two are lined up. All right, so I've got my laminate ready. I'm going to bring the roller down till it just touches. Okay. So let's make sure that my lamb looks good. I'm going to take I'm going to show you two ways. This one is a little more wasteful than the other one. But in the case when you got like it's election year and you've got to do 50-yard signs, or you got a whatever.
Bunch of banners.
Bunch of them, yeah. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this up and touch it right here. Okay. Drop this down. The machine comes with a starting board or leader board. It'll allow me to start the material. So I'm going to use the foot pedal just because I'll select these two hands on this. So I'll reset, use foot pedal, slow it down, and I'm going to get this, and what this is going to do is push it in there nice and straight. So I'm going to step on the pedal, and then use my thumb to push this in there straight, so it's not cocked at an angle. I gotta wait for it to go all the way through. Okay? Between it, so it's out of the roller. Okay? Now I can stop, and I'm gonna set the pressure. I don't want to set the pressure on the board, I want to set the pressure only on the two materials that I'm using. So in the case of just laminated onto paper or anything, I'm going to go full pressure. And then I can set this and just feed it out a little bit more. And it's laminated. Okay, so I'm going to take my cutter here. Alright, we can set this out, and if we wanted to rip this off, we can cut this off. Okay, so now it's webbed up and ready to go. So I'm going to raise this table up so you can see what it looks like. So in this case, I stopped it. I could have kept going. I could have flipped this over to automatic mode, and this would just continue on. Now, you have to account for this much waste on the front end of that. That's the back end of your print, finished before you cut it. You want to give yourself probably 12 inches or so of paper to use this board. But now I can sit here and run this as far as I want. I can run it out on the table, or I can now tape it to the take-up roller on the back side. Okay, and it'll wind it up. So I'm not going to waste too much of it. So now it's just running. And it'll do that all day long. Okay. So it'll run, if that was a 100-foot print, I can run 100 feet out on your table, and y'all could cut them and do what you're going to do with it, or we could rewind it. We would take that table out and rewind it. Okay. So now, in the case where, if this is paper, let's say this is a roll of craft paper, and you guys want to go cut sheet one after, you got onesie, twosies. We could take this craft paper just to get it started and cut that, and I can leave it like this, ready to accept another print, where I could take a print that you have to laminate. So I'm going to cut this off as an example. So I've got the roller, the laminator webbed up. I've got my print over here. I've already wiped it down. Got all that here off of it. Reset. So I'm going to run this until that little flap pops up. I could have cut it closer so I'm not wasting that much, right? Now I can just take this now. Now, whenever you feed in to your machine or anything, you always want to insert it slower than the rollers are turning, so that you don't push it into it and make it bump up a little bit. You want to pull it out of your hands. So I'm going to feed that up until it's touching, start to drive, and then just ever so slightly insert it. So So I'm not really putting a gap between it so it doesn't stick to the bottom roller and make a big giant mess. So what a lot of people will do is, in the case of onesie twosies, they'll have some of these already pre-cut just sitting down there just to follow a print. So you can have this thing webbed up like this and then have scrap pieces just sitting here to follow your print through, so it keeps the machine webbed up and you don't have to go through that every time. You could pull it off of here and follow your print, and then cut it, and then just leave it cut right here, and then for your next print. Okay? Like for instance. So that's my last sheet. I'm just gonna throw stuff over here now. Now, let's say that's the end of my last job, right? I'm running along. I could reach down here and grab this guy and follow my print. And then once that gets to the point where I can cut it off, I stop it and I cut this off, and then I'm ready for another print. So the machine's kind of webbed up and waiting for you. Okay? Now, in the case where, so I'll just pretend that I'm doing that. So I just, so once I get that to a point, nope. All right, I left too big of a gap. This is what we were talking about, reverse. That's what reverse is for. All right. So how do you fix this? So you see what happened there? It started to go underneath that table there. I can just pop this table out, and I can fix it. You don't want to see it go perfect every time. You gotta know what to do, right? Yep. In the case where I make a bonehead move. All right. So now I've got it. I've got that piece. I just cut this one off, and now it's ready for the next print that might be in 2 hours from now. Okay. So how to fix this now? I'm going to run a little bit more, as if I did not screw up, so I can cut that safely. All right. So I'll cut this off. Now, if you'll grab into that table, we're going to grab the end of that print and raise up on it. We're going to go over that first pin, and then in between the next.
Over the first one?
Yeah. Can you pull your corner of your print? There you go. So go over, and then there you go. Now, in the case where we've got it sitting like this, you've already cut your print off. You can take a piece of tape and hold that tight, because in 90 minutes the roller's going to come apart and release your pressure, the tension on there. So if we've got this tension, then we can come back and lower the roller when it's, after lunch, and we're going to start all over again.
Whenever you're ready to laminate something else.
Yeah. Now, just be aware that when this roller is left like this, dust, hair, bugs can get in there. And some of the stuff, yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. But so you just be aware, give that an inspection if you're planning on using that. Okay? Or you just have a little bit of a leader. You can run this over again or whatever. Okay. All right.
So it's best whenever you have a whole bunch of 54-inch that you need to land to try to get it done in one shot.
Yeah.
In a 30-inch or whatever the next size is.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you don't have to be loading it up.
Yeah. Especially when you're not swapping laminates. You guys might switch between gloss, semi-gloss, and matte, and that sort of thing. I don't know. I don't know what the sign industry does now. It primarily is gloss, isn't it? Or like a satin.
Luster,
Luster.
gloss.
Yeah. So luster's the nicest that gives the gloss look.
The cast is a gloss.
Is it?
Most of it.
And you do gloss on, or cast on your vinyls that are definitely being stuck to something